Christmas time has finally come to the island of Sodor. Good morning, whistled Reneus to Peter, Sam and Duke. Peep, peep! Merry Christmas, whistled Peter, Sam, and a Happy New Year too, said Duke. There was going to be a big festive Christmas carol party at the big station. All the engines were working really hard. They had to bring passengers and goods to their preparations on time. However, the snow made their journeys very difficult. They didn't mind the cold because the steam engines had nice hot toasting fireboxes to keep them warm. And the diesel engines have nice warm hot toasting diesel fuel to keep them warm too. James was dropping off some passengers at the station at the Christmas party when, suddenly, he saw Percy. He was grumbling, shunting some trucks. "What's the matter, Percy?" asked James. "I'm cold," said Percy. "I've been working hard all morning, and I've been shunting trucks, pulling coaches everywhere, and the snow is making my wheels cold." "Never mind, Percy," said James. "Cheer up. It's Christmas time, and I think the snow is perfect for all the engines at Christmas." "Pah!" grumbled Percy, and then he puffed crossly away. Next, Percy was pulling some more passengers, feeling more grumpy as usual. Along the way, he saw Thomas with Andy and Clarabel at the junction. "Hello, Percy," said Thomas. "You look very glum." "I am, Thomas," said Percy. "I've been working hard all morning, and the snow is making my wheels cold, and I'm looking forward to a rest, but the Fat Controller says I've still got lots more work to do." "Never mind, Percy," said Thomas. "Cheer up. It's the Christmas carol party tonight, and we'll all be looking forward to seeing you later." "Oh, thank you, Thomas," said Percy. Then he puffed away. He felt much better. He loved spending time with his friend. Percy finished pulling his passengers, and so he went back to the sidings to have a rest at the station. But the Fat Controller was actually waiting for him. "Percy, I've got another important job for you," he said. "You are to collect some Christmas lights from the harbour and to bring them to the party tonight." Now, Percy was very cross, but he knows that really useful engines have to do as they are told. Thomas felt sorry for Percy and decided to pluck up courage. "Please, sir, can Percy have a rest, and then I can bring the Christmas lights from the harbour?" "Sorry, Thomas," said the Fat Controller. "You've got to stay here and pull passengers with James. All the preparations must be done on time for the Christmas party." "Poor Percy," said James. Meanwhile, Percy was puffing along towards the harbour. Along the way, he saw Toby with Duncan and Fearless Freddy. "Cranky's waiting for you at the harbour," said Toby. "The Christmas lights are needed for the party tonight." "Don't worry," said Percy. "I'm on my way to fetch them. What are you doing with the little engines?" "The little engines are coming to join the party as well," replied Toby, "so they don't get left out." "We're looking forward to it," said Duncan. "It'll be exciting," said Fearless Freddy. And then Percy puffed away towards the harbour. He felt a little bit better. They built a set of tracks for the little engines at the station where they can stand and enjoy the party. "We're looking forward to it," said Rusty and Scarlery together. Percy finally reached the harbour. His Christmas lights were loading into his trucks, but the job was taking a very long time. "Hurry up, Cranky!" shouted Percy. "I'm going to be late." That made Cranky very cross. He became so cranky that he swung his chain right over Percy. "Be careful, Cranky!" shouted the yard manager. "Otherwise you'll drop the Christmas lights and then Percy will be late." Cranky felt sorry for Percy. "I'm sorry, Percy," he said. I just don't like rushing so much. I do hope you enjoy the Christmas party tonight, and enjoy the snow." Percy didn't agree, and then he puffed away. He did not even say thank you to Cranky. At the moment, Thomas and James were delivering passengers to the station. Although they try not to, they were very, very worried about Percy. Meanwhile, Percy was puffing back towards the station with his Christmas lights. Along the way, he saw Harold. "Why is Harold buzzing about? I haven't time for a race today," he said. Because they were watching Harold, they didn't notice a sign they just passed. It said, "All engines must slow down beyond this point." Then there was trouble. Just round the corner they saw a big snowdrift. Percy's driver applied his brakes, but the tracks were very icy. Percy slid out of control into the deep snowdrift. Luckily, no one was hurt. "Now I'll be late," he said. "I should have known that Harold was trying to warn us." Percy hoped he was not going to stay out for the night. He remembered the time when he was delivering extra coals to the stations and his driver and fireman had to leave him out all night in the cold. Meanwhile, Bertie was taking passengers to the station when he saw Percy. He stopped. "Oh, dearie me, Percy," said Bertie. "Looks like you're stuck. I shall have to go for help right now." Back at the station, the Fat Controller was very worried. "Where's Percy?" he said. "It's nearly time for the party, and he's not turned up with the Christmas lights." Just then, Bertie arrived. "What's the matter, Bertie?" asked Thomas. "Percy's stuck in a snowdrift," said Bertie. "Oh, no," said the Fat Controller. No wondered why he hasn't turned up with the Christmas lights. "Thomas, James, go and rescue him immediately." "Yes, sir," they said, and then they puffed quickly away. Meanwhile, Percy was getting very, very worried. His fire had gone out and there was still no help had come. Then Thomas and James arrived. James took the Christmas lights to the station and Thomas pulled Percy out of the snowdrift. They arrived back at the station just in time. That night, all the engines came to the station. It was very dark. But then the Fat Controller counted 1, 2, 3, and all the Christmas lights came on at the big station, introducing a beautiful Christmas tree. The Fat Controller made the important announcement. "Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you 3 cheers to all the engines." And everybody clapped and cheered. And then all the engines whistled along. They couldn't have been so happier. Just then they heard an unfamiliar buzzing sound. It was Harold. He landed next to the engines on the snow. And guess who he brought? Yes, it was Father Christmas. Everybody was so pleased that they gave him 3 cheers.
"I only carry very important passengers,"
said Harold. Thomas, James and Percy smiled at each other. "You're absolutely right, Thomas," said Percy. Everybody was pleased to see me at the party tonight, and the job was worth it. And you were absolutely right, James. Snow is perfect for all the engines at Christmas. We're always glad to help, said Thomas. And that's what friends are for, said James. All the engines agree. And whilst they did, they wished themselves Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. It was winter on the island of Sodor. Everywhere on the island was covered in a thick blanket of snow. All the engines have to work really hard at this time of year, bringing passengers and goods. Sometimes they have to work all night and during the day too, when the road was blocked with flakes of ice of snow. Bertie the bus couldn't bring any passengers, and the lorries couldn't take any goods. One day the Fat Controller came to see the engines. I need an engine to collect the hedgehogs, he said. They'll be needed in a safe place. They're going to be hibernating. Hibernating? Said Percy. What does that mean? Hibernating, said Gordon. It means these animals sleep through the winter and then they come out in the spring. That's because hedgehogs are very clever animals, said Thomas. Please, sir, asked Henry, can I do it? Very well then, said the Fat Controller. They're waiting on the platform. And then Henry puffed away. When Henry finally reached to the Knapford Station platform, the station master was guiding the hedgehogs into the vans. These hedgehogs really need to find a safe place so they can sleep through the winter, said Edward. I'll make sure they're delivered safely, said Henry, but which way do I go? Follow this track and you'll reach the junction, and Murdoch will tell you which way to go next. Thank you, Edward, said Henry, and then Henry puffed away. When Henry finally reached the junction, Murdoch was already there. These hedgehogs must then be in their sleeping positions very soon, said Murdoch. I'm trying, said Henry, but now where do I go? This track leads to Elsbridge Station. Some other engines will tell you which way to go next. Thank you, Murdoch, said Henry, and then Henry puffed away. Henry finally reached the Elsbridge Station. Duck, Arthur, Rheneas, Duke, and Mighty Mac were waiting for him. The hedgehogs must be kept safe for the winter, said Rheneas. Now which way do I go? Asked Henry. The hedgehogs will be delivered quickly if you can reach the other side of the bridge, said Arthur. But that bridge is under repair, and the line is closed, said Duck. Henry had a thought for a moment. If he can manage to reach the other side of the bridge without any harm, the hedgehogs will be delivered safely. So he puffed away. Henry came to another junction there was a sign on one track. It said, "Line closed due to mending bridge." "Come on, Henry," said his driver. "We must go this way." But Henry wanted to go the other way. So he broke through the sign. Rusty was passing by when he saw Henry broke through the sign. "What did you do that for?" he asked. "These hedgehogs must be delivered quickly," said Henry, "so I'm crossing the bridge." "But the bridge isn't safe," said Rusty. But Henry took no notice, so he puffed on towards the bridge. The bridge was very rickety and dangerous, and the beams were frozen solid. When Henry reached the bridge, he felt a little scared. "If I chuff slowly," he thought, "I'll reach the other side without harm." Slowly, but very carefully, Henry chuffed onto the bridge. The bridge creaked and groaned. Henry was halfway across the bridge. Then there was trouble. A coupling from the truck behind him broke. The trucks went rolling off the bridge. "Oh no!" cried Henry. "The hedgehogs!" Henry reversed off the bridge just in time as it started to collapse. The trucks left the junction and out onto the main line. Henry would not give up chasing after it, so he puffed on. They were rolling onto the main line still, and they were rolling through Elsbridge Station. But they were heading straight towards James. "Change the points!" he called out. And they did, just in time. Just then Henry arrived and saw the situation. "Oh no!" he cried. "The hedgehogs will never go for the hibernation now. And now we can't get through, because our track is blocked," said Sir Handel crossly. Finally, Boko came with the breakdown train to clear up the mess. The Fat Controller was on board. He spoke severely to Henry. "You have caused confusion and delay," he said. "You know it was very silly to ignore the danger sign and crossing the unsafe bridge." "Sorry, sir," said Henry. "I just want the hedgehogs to be delivered safely. How will I know which way to go?" "Don't worry," said the Fat Controller. "I'll tell you which way to go. Follow the other track at the junction. It's not far from here." "Oh, thank you, sir," said Henry. Soon the tracks were clear, the trucks were back on the rails, and Henry was able to set off again. Henry chuffed on through the ice and flakes of snow. Finally, he reached the place where the hedgehogs were needed. He saw some workmen there. He stopped. All the men cheered as they saw the hedgehogs. "Now the hedgehogs can go for the hibernation here," said Henry. Soon the hedgehogs were unloaded and they were soon asleep. That evening, the Fat Controller came to see Henry at the sheds. "Well done, Henry," he said. "The hedgehogs have been delivered safely. You really are a useful engine." "Oh, thank you, sir," said Henry proudly. The island of Sodor was having a very hard winter, and there's been another heavy snowfall in the night. Terence the tractor to clear the roads with his snowplough so that Bertie the bus and his passengers can get through safely. Thomas had to clear the railway line with his snowplough. Thomas really hated wearing a snowplough. And the worst thing of all, the little engines would not stop teasing him. "Look," said Brennius, "there's Thomas. He looks like he's enjoying that," teased Duke. That made Thomas very cross. "Be quiet," he said. "You know I don't like wearing my snowplough." And then Thomas puffed crossly away. Thomas went on clearing the railway line. Up ahead he saw a big snowdrift which was 50 feet high. Thomas charged towards the snowdrift, but he stopped. He tried to puff forward, but the snowdrift was too heavy. Just then, Fearless Freddy arrived. "Having fun, Thomas?" he teased. "I am surprised." That made Thomas even more cross. "Be quiet," he said. "I'm trying to concentrate." Thomas reversed back and charged through the snowdrift again. Then he did it again, and again, and again. Fearless Freddy kept on laughing. Then there was trouble. Thomas tried to puff backwards. His wheels spun, but he couldn't move. Thomas was stuck. "Oh no," he said. "I'll never go on clearing the line now." Fearless Freddy laughed. "Please stop laughing," said Thomas. "This is an emergency. Please, could you go for help?" Freddy smiled. "Yes," he said. "Right away, and there's no time to lose." And then Freddy puffed away. Fearless Freddy met Duncan up ahead. He was having a drink. "Thomas was clearing the railway line with his snowplough," he said, "but he's got himself stuck. Please, could you go for help?" "Yes, no problem," said Duncan, and then he puffed away. Duncan met Sir Handel up ahead and told him about Thomas. Sir Handel told Rusty, who told Scar Louie, who told Peter Sam, who told Mighty Mac, who told Harold, who immediately flew off for help. Harold hovered down. He saw James on his way to the junction. Harold told James what happened to Thomas. "We'll stop at an 8 signal box," said James's driver. "We'll telephone for help there." And then James puffed away. James finally reached the signal box. His driver telephoned for help. When the Fat Controller heard the news, he was very angry. "Not again," he said. "I shall have to send Donald and Douglas with their snowplows on the breakdown train to rescue him." But the hours passed. It grew dark and cold, and still no help had come. Thomas was very worried. His fire had gone out and his funnel was freezing. At long last, Donald and Douglas arrived with their snowplows and the breakdown train. Donald pulled Thomas out of the snowdrift, and Douglas stayed behind with the breakdown train to clear up the snowdrift. Finally, Thomas was building more steam, and then he was able to puff back to the station. It was dawn by the time Thomas got back. The Fat Controller was waiting. "I'm sorry, sir," said Thomas. "I got stuck. I couldn't get through with my snowplough with the heavy snowdrift." "Never mind, Thomas," said the Fat Controller. "It wasn't your fault. The weather is really getting heavy. You can go back to the sheds, Thomas, because you've done enough clearing the snow for the time being." "Yes, sir," said Thomas sadly, and then he puffed sadly away. The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields with green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams, and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine, and docks of visitors for the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor. Rain, rain, go away. It was windy and wet on the island of Sodor. The wind blew and the rain fell heavily. Thomas the tank engine was on his way with a train full of fresh vegetables. But Thomas had to be careful on the way in case any of the tracks were flooded. On his way, Thomas saw Terence the tractor. His driver was standing near the railway line waving at them to stop. "What's the matter?" asked Thomas. "There are terrible floods above the hills, Thomas," said Terence's driver. "And the water's run tons of earth down and blocked the track." "Oh dear," said Thomas's driver. "Can we telephone the station for help?" "I'm afraid not," said Terence. "The lines are down, and the sound of an engine and its whistle can cause another avalanche. We should go back to Knapford Station and warn the other engines not to come this way," said Thomas. His driver agreed, and then they set off. When Thomas got back to Knapford Station, the engines were waiting for their coal. "Don't go near the branch line," warned Thomas. "There's been some terrible landslides there." "How would you know?" wheezed Gordon. "You're just a tank engine." And then he puffed crossly away. He did not even wait for his coal. Thomas had to tell the Fat Controller what had happened. "Thank you," said the Fat Controller. "I will close down this line immediately. Meanwhile, nobody is to go that way until the bad weather is over." Thomas's driver put up a sign, "Line closed." The engines had to go a different way. Meanwhile, Gordon needed more coal to get back to the station. But when he reached the coal bunker at Brendam Docks, it was empty. "Bother," said Gordon. "I won't be able to get home without more coal. Where's the nearest bunker?" "On the branch line," said Percy, "but you can't go that way. Thomas says it's not safe." Gordon was really cross. "I'm sure one trip to the branch line won't hurt," said Gordon's driver, and then Gordon puffed away. When they got to the junction, Gordon's driver removed the sign. And then Gordon set off towards the branch line. This was a terrible mistake. Suddenly, Gordon hissed to a halt. "I'm out of steam!" he cried. His driver and fireman went for help. Gordon was all alone. The rain was pouring heavily, and the water was rising fast. Suddenly, there was a deep rumbling sound. Another landslide was coming down from the hills. "Oh no!" cried Gordon. The drift was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Soon after, the track was blocked and Gordon was buried underneath. "Help!" he cried, but no one heard him. Later that evening, a lot of passengers were waiting on the platform at Knapford Station, but there was no sign of Gordon. "I wonder where he is," thought Thomas. Then Percy remembered something. "Thomas," he said, "Gordon's gone along the branch line." "I'd better go and see if he's all right," said Thomas. And then Thomas puffed away. Thomas puffed along the branch line. He couldn't see Gordon anywhere. Then he saw a back of a tender sticking out. It was Gordon. "Don't worry, Gordon," said Thomas. "I'll have you out of there in no time." Thomas pulled and pulled. It was hard, heavy work. But at last Gordon was free. "Thank you, Thomas," said Gordon. "No problem," said Thomas. Later, the Fat Controller spoke severely to Gordon. "Now that was very irresponsible," he snapped. "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. And Thomas, you were very brave." "Yes, Thomas, you really are a useful engine." "Thank you, sir," said Thomas proudly. The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields with green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams, and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine, and docks of visitors for the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor. When the weather changes. Sometimes on the island of Sodor it rains very heavily. Sometimes the sun is out. But whatever the weather, the engines work hard without fuss. Early one morning, Thomas the tank engine had to leave the sheds early because he had an important train to collect. The Fat Controller gathered the rest of the engines at Knapford Station with a new weather report. "There is snow on the way," he said. Then he looked anxiously around. "Where is Thomas?" "Sir," called Percy, "he left the sheds early this morning. Please may I go and find him?" "Yes," said the Fat Controller. "Tell Thomas that Sir Topham Hatt said he must go and have his snowplough fitted." Thomas was at the quarry taking on coal. "Thank you for letting me use your coal bunker, Mavis," said Thomas. "It's all right," said Mavis. And then Thomas set off. But not long after Thomas left, Percy arrived. "Have you seen Thomas, Mavis?" asked Percy. "He was here just now," said Mavis, "but he's gone." "I must find him," said Percy. Thomas was at Wayside Village collecting his new towing rope. "Thank you for bringing my new towing rope, Scarloey," said Thomas. "No problem," said Scarloey, and then Thomas puffed away. But just then Percy arrived. "Have you seen Thomas Scarlowy?" asked Percy. "He was here just now collecting his new towing rope," replied Scarlowy. "I really must find him," said Percy. "I've got a message for him." Thomas was at the docks collecting his train. He was soon ready to go. "Thank you, Cranky, for getting the train ready for me," said Thomas. "Always glad to help," said Cranky, and then Thomas set off once again. "There's snow on the way, Thomas," called Cranky, but Thomas didn't hear him. Percy soon arrived. "Have you seen Thomas, Cranky?" asked Percy. "He left 5 minutes ago with his train," said Cranky. "I really must find him," said Percy. On the way, Percy saw Bertie. "Have you seen Thomas, Bertie?" asked Percy. "I'm sorry, Percy," said Bertie. "I haven't. What's wrong?" "I've got an urgent message for him from the Fat Controller. There's snow on the way, and he wants him to have his snowplough fitted." "I tell you what, Percy," said Bertie. "You go back to the station, and I can give Thomas the message." "Thank you, Bertie," said Percy, and then the two friends set off. But Percy had puffed so hard chasing after Thomas that he completely ran out of water. "Oh no," said Percy. Thomas was puffing along the line with his train when all of a sudden dark, heavy grey clouds were filling in from the sky. "Looks like rain," said Thomas. But they weren't rain clouds. They were snow clouds. Little white flakes were floating down from the sky. "Oh no," said Thomas. "It's snowing, and I haven't got my snowplough on. I'd better get back to the station before it gets really bad." Thomas finally got back to the station. By now the snow was getting heavy. Then he heard the Fat Controller talking to the station master. "Percy has gone missing," said the station master. "Something must be wrong," said the Fat Controller. "I'll send Harold to look for him." Thomas was shocked. "Percy's gone missing?" he said. Even Thomas didn't have his snowplough on. He wanted to find Percy before Harold does. Thomas puffed along the line. Then he saw a blocked track in front of him, and he heard a voice from the inside. "It's Percy," said Thomas. "I'll have you out." Thomas pulled and pulled with his new towing rope. At last Percy was free. "Thank you, Thomas." And Percy noticed that Thomas wasn't wearing his snowplough. "Didn't you get the message, Thomas?" asked Percy. "What message?" asked Thomas. "I've been chasing you around Sodor all morning," replied Percy. "I've got a message for you from the Fat Controller. He wants you to have your snowplough fitted." Just then Bertie arrived. "There you are, Thomas," said Bertie. "I've been looking for you everywhere. I've got a message from you from the Fat Controller. He wants you to go and have your snowplough fitted." "Wait a minute," said Thomas. "How come you two have the same message?" "Oh, you see," replied Percy, "when I was looking for you I bumped into Bertie, and he volunteered to pass the message, and as I was going back to the station I ran out of water." Thomas, Bertie and Percy laughed. Then they heard a strange buzzing sound coming from above. It was Harold. He had brought the Fat Controller. He was pleased to see Percy was okay, but he was not happy to see Thomas. "Thomas," he said, "why haven't you got your snowplough on?" "Please don't be cross with Thomas, sir," said Percy. And Bertie and Percy told the Fat Controller the whole story. The Fat Controller laughed, and then turned to Thomas. "Well, Thomas," said the Fat Controller, "I think it was a very brave thing to do to rescue Percy without your snowplough." "Thank you, sir," said Thomas. "Now," said the Fat Controller, "you really must go and have your snowplough fitted." For the rest of the day, Thomas worked hard clearing the line. He whistled to Percy as they passed by.
The island of Sodor is surrounded by a beautiful blue sea. It has fields with green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams, and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine, and docks of visitors for the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor. Wet, wet, wet. No engine on the island of Sodor likes wet days, especially Henry. He can never forget the time when he got bricked up for being afraid of it. Oliver, the Great Western Engine, on the other hand, didn't mind the rain. It didn't seem to bother him at all. One very wet day, Oliver was resting on the siding when Percy arrived. "Isn't it a horrid wet day?" said Percy. "Oh, I don't think so," replied Oliver. "I don't mind the rain. I think it's good to make the plants grow and gives the animals water. It's nice to see you enjoying it," said Percy, "but I don't like it." Later that day, Oliver was pulling coaches when he saw some children playing in the rain. "Hello," called Oliver. "I hope you're having a good time splashing in the puddles." "Yes," called the children. "We love it when it rains." "It's good to see you in having fun," said Oliver, and then he puffed away. Later, the Fat Controller came to see Oliver. "I need you to take some coal trucks to Wellswood Station," said the Fat Controller. "It's a very important job." "Yes, sir," said Oliver. Oliver collected his coal trucks and then he was on his way. On the way, Oliver saw Thomas with Annie and Cloudwell at the junction. "There's more rain on the way," warned Thomas. "Don't take the track across the bridge. I need to get to Wellswood Station," said Oliver. "I'm sure it'll be fine." A little while later, Oliver saw Harold. He warned Oliver that the river across the bridge was rising fast and that line was closed. "Thank you," said Oliver. "I'll take the loopway to Wellswood Station," and Oliver set off once again. Suddenly, Oliver saw Bertie the bus stuck in the mud. "What happened to you, Bertie?" asked Oliver. "I couldn't take the usual road to Wellswood Station," said Bertie. "It was flooded, and I had to take the alleyway, but it was very muddy, and now I'm stuck." "Don't worry, Bertie," said Oliver. "I'll leave my trucks on the siding and I'll go back and find the towing rope." Oliver hurried back as fast as he could to find the towing rope. In no time at all, he came back, and he also brought a flatbed to put Bertie on. Oliver pulled Bertie out of the mud, and then he was rolled onto a flatbed. "Thank you, Oliver," said Bertie. "It's all right," said Oliver. "Now let's get you and my trucks to Wellswood Station." At last, Bertie and Oliver pulled into Wellswood Station. The Fat Controller was waiting. "Well, Oliver," he said, "I've heard all about you rescuing Bertie and bringing your coal trucks at the same time. You're a really useful engine." "Thank you, sir," said Oliver. That evening, Oliver told his friends about his adventure in the rain and how he rescued Bertie. The other engines were feeling a bit fed up. "I don't know why you don't like the rain," said Oliver. "I saw some children playing in it, and it looked fun." "I don't think rain is fun," said Edward, "because I remember when I got caught in the rain and one of my side rods broke off." "I don't think rain is fun either," agreed Toby, "because I remember I got trapped in the middle of a rising river when I was crossing an old wooden bridge." "Well, I certainly don't think rain is fun," said Percy, "because I got stuck in a flooded valley when I was taking some children home." "And I got shot in the tunnel for being afraid of the rain," said Henry. "I once couldn't get up Gordon's Hill," said James, "because the wet weather made the leaves on the tracks very slippery." "As for me," said Thomas, I got stuck in a landslide one time and had to wait for a very long time in the pouring rain for someone to pull me out." "And me," said Gordon. "I got buried under a landslide once." "The rain doesn't bother me that much," said Duck. "Sometimes the engines tease me about the rain, and they say that ducks can swim, and they like the water." Oliver laughed. "You see," he said to his friends, "I know you've all had bad experiences about the rain, but you must understand that if we don't have rain, we wouldn't have any water and no beautiful plants. So it's not so bad, really." And all the engines agreed. The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields with green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams, and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine, and docks of visitors for the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor. Thomas and the Big Dig Day. Winter has settled into the island of Sodor. The trees have shaken their leaves and the island was covered in snow. The engines didn't mind the cold because the winter holidays were coming and they all loved to take specials. One day Thomas the tank engine came back from clearing his branch line. The Fat Controller was waiting for him. "This afternoon I need you and Percy to collect a special from Brendam Docks," he said. "It's needed for the winter party at Wayside Village." "Yes, sir," said Thomas. Later, Thomas had to go to the quarry to collect his coal trucks, but when he arrived, there was no sign of his coal trucks. "Where are my trucks?" Thomas asked Mavis. "Oh no, not again," said Mavis. "The twins are hiding them. Come on, you two, stop playing hunt the truck and bring back Thomas's trucks." Thomas went to find his trucks. Then he saw the back of Ben's boiler sticking out of the shed. "So," whispered Thomas, "that's where you've hidden my trucks." He moved forward to collect them. "Now!" Ben called to Bill. Bill came out of the other shed and wheeshed snow all over Thomas. "Very funny," laughed Thomas. "Now give me back my trucks." "You'll have to catch us first," teased Bill, and the twins ran off. "All right," said Thomas. "Two could play at that game." And Thomas went to seek for the twins. Then he saw some steam coming out on the other side of some trucks. "I've got you now," said Thomas. And he puffed back and wheeshed snow, but not all over Bill and Ben, all over Edward. "Sorry, Edward," said Thomas. "I didn't know you were here. I was aiming at the twins." "That's all right, Thomas," said Edward. "I'm glad I found you because the snow has made the tracks blocked and Harvey and the breakdown train are stuck in a big drift. Looks like it's a job for you and your snowplow." "Okay," said Thomas. "I can't deliver my trucks to the docks anyway until the lines are clear." "Come on now, you two," said Mavis to Bill and Ben. "Thomas needs his trucks now." Bill and Ben gave Thomas his trucks back. And then Thomas and Edward set off to rescue Harvey. Thomas and Edward arrived. "Don't worry, Harvey," said Thomas, "we'll have you out of there in no time." And in no time at all, Harvey and the breakdown train were free. "Thank you, Thomas," said Harvey, and then he puffed away. Just then Thomas's fireman arrived. "You've got to rescue 5 other engines from the snowdrift as well," he said. "They'll need you and your snowplow for the job." "I'll look after your trucks, Thomas, until you've finished rescuing your friends," said Edward. "Thank you, Edward," said Thomas, and then Thomas set off. Thomas was having to clear the snow for lots of his friends. He helped Henry through with his freight train. Stepney and Lady with their goods train. Dennis with his fuel trucks. And Molly with the express. After helping his friends, Thomas collected his trucks from Edward and then he set off straight to the docks. Thomas arrived at the docks in time. Percy was waiting. "I heard about you helping your friends all morning," said Percy. "Yes," said Thomas. "Now it's your turn with the special. What is it?" "Well, I'm taking some fairy lights so they can put them up into the village and round the old tree," said Percy. "And you're taking these banners, but they look a bit strange. And here's what they look like," said Frankie. Thomas looked closely at the banners. They were full of pictures, and suddenly Thomas realised what they were. "They're photographs of when we had our Christmas parties," said Thomas. "I remember them very well." "Me too," said Percy. At last Thomas and Percy's trains were loaded and then they set off straight to the village. They finally arrived at the station and the villagers were pleased of what Thomas and Percy bought for them. That night the fairy lights were switched on and the banners were hanged over the houses. The winter holiday party was a great success, and there was even some fairy lights wrapped around Thomas and Percy, and the 2 engines agreed it was the best winter holiday party special ever. The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields with green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine, and docks of visitors for the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas! Hello, Thomas! Hello, everybody! Welcome to the island of Sodor. Slippery ice. More snow had fallen the night on Sodor. It had covered the island and blocked the tracks. The Fat Controller gathered his engines at Knapford Station. He had bad news. "All the tracks are blocked," he said. "None of you will be able to get to your destinations this morning." "Please, sir," said Thomas. "May I help clear the lines?" "Very well," said the Fat Controller, "but you must work with Donald and Douglas. You must get all the lines clear or no trains will be collected today. And remember, the tracks are very icy, so you must go slowly and take care." "We'll do our best, sir," said Donald and Douglas. The 3 engines soon got to work. Donald cleared the lines to Wellswood Station and Farquhar. Douglas cleared the lines to Wayside Village Station and the quarry. And Thomas cleared his line to Elswood Station and Brendam Docks. Thomas arrived at the docks. "Thank you, Marty," said Salty. "Now you got the lines clear, I'll be able to get to Knapford Station." "You're welcome, Salty," replied Thomas. "Don't forget to go slowly and take care, because the tracks are very icy." "Of course, Marty," said Salty. Thomas was making his way back to Knapford Station, going steady and carefully. Everywhere he went, he saw all the engines going steady and carefully. But there was one engine who was not taking care, and that was Rosie. She was racing along the line with her goods train. "Slow down, Rosie," called Thomas. "I need to hurry," said Rosie. "I've got to get this train to Wayside Village Station." Suddenly, Rosie saw a bend ahead and it was very icy. "Oh no!" cried Rosie. Her driver applied her brakes, but it was too late. She came off the rails and landed in a heap in the snow. Luckily, no one was hurt. "Are you all right, Rosie?" asked Thomas. "I think so," replied Rosie. The Fat Controller arrived on board Arthur. He was cross. "Rosie," he said, "the tracks were icy and you were not taking care. You have caused confusion and delay." "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," said Rosie. In no time at all, Harvey came with the breakdown train. Everyone helped and Thomas pulled Rosie back onto the rails. "Thank you, Thomas," said Rosie. "You're welcome, Rosie," said Thomas. "Remember to go slowly and carefully." "I will this time," said Rosie, and then she chuffed slowly and carefully away. Percy takes charge. "Bother! It's starting to snow," grumbled Thomas. Yes, winter was on its way to the island of Sodor, and the engine thinks it's going to be a hard one this year. There is a lot of snow to help block the lines, and they all have to work hard clearing it off. And there's a lot of goods and passengers when the roads are closed by deep snow. One morning the Fat Controller came to the sheds. "We've all got to get the island moving again," he said to the engines. "You've all got really important jobs to do because all the roads are blocked because of the snow." And all the engines set off to work, all except Percy. "I've got a very important job for you," said the Fat Controller. "I need you to make sure everyone is working safely, because this weather can bring icy conditions." So Percy set off to work, keeping an eye on any engine who was working safely. As he stopped by a signal, Gordon whooshed past him with the express. "Slow down, Gordon!" called Percy, but Gordon didn't hear him. Gordon stopped at Alfred Station to pick up some passengers. Percy pulled in next to him. "You need to reduce your speed in weather like this," said Percy, "otherwise you might slide off the rails." Gordon was cross. "I don't mean to tell him what to do by a small engine like you," he huffed. "I'm just doing my job. Passengers are too important to be late." Later, Percy was having a drink at the water tower when Toby pulled up next to him. "Have you remembered to fill up with water?" Percy asked Toby. "Yes," replied Toby. "I did that first thing this morning." "That's okay then," said Percy, "because your tank doesn't hold much water and you don't want to run out in steam in weather like this." "That's good advice, Percy," said Toby, "but don't you worry. I'll be all right and I will work safely." And then Toby puffed away. A little while later, Percy went to the quarry to collect his trucks. He met Thomas and Edward there. "I hope you remember to fill up with coal," Percy said to them. "It'll be terrible running out the steam in weather like this." "Don't you worry, Percy," said Thomas. "We've remembered to fill up with coal just as soon as we got here," said Edward. "That's okay then," said Percy. And then he set off. "Wait!" called Mavis. "Don't forget your trucks." "Thank you," said Percy. Bill and Ben shunted the trucks behind Percy. "Bill, Ben," advised Percy. "No silly games in weather like this, otherwise there might be an accident." "We won't," said the twins, and then Percy set off once again. As Percy was making his back along the line, he saw Henry with his goods train. "Don't go up any steep hills," Percy called to Henry, "otherwise you might be pushed down the hill in weather like this." "Thank you, Percy," called Henry. Then he saw James. "Don't go too fast," Percy called to James. "It's dangerous speeding in icy conditions." James was cross. "I'm just doing my job," he boasted. That made Percy very cross. "Why isn't anyone listening to me?" he thought. "The Fat Controller did ask me to keep everyone safe." He was so busy thinking about it, he didn't notice the signal he went past telling him to stop. And he didn't see the goods train ahead of him. Until it was too late. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but Percy came off the rails, and sticky rice pudding squelched right over him. Duck came with the breakdown train to rescue Percy. The Fat Controller was on board. "I'm sorry, sir," said Percy. "I was so busy worrying about everyone not keeping safe, I didn't realise I wasn't keeping safe either." "It wasn't your fault, Percy," said the Fat Controller. "You have been giving all my engines good advices on how to keep safe, and most of them listened to you." "But Gordon and James didn't," said Percy. "Don't you worry," said the Fat Controller. "I told them that they weren't taking your advice, nor keeping safe." Soon the line was clear, and Duck took Percy to the fitters' yard. Percy had to stay at the fitters' yard for a very, very long time. It was hard work getting the sticky rice pudding off him. But Thomas, Edward and Toby took over by running his line. That evening the engines went back to the sheds. "I'm starting to miss Percy," said Thomas. "Me too," said Toby. "He has helped us all day to keep us safe." "And you two haven't been very helpful when you didn't listen to his advice," Duck said crossly to Gordon and James. "That's right," agreed Edward. "Thanks to you, he's got himself into a bit of a pickle." Gordon was very annoyed with himself. So annoyed, in fact, he's thinking about not agreeing with other engines for good advices. But that's another story. Very bad day for Duck. It was Christmas time on the island of Sodor. All the engines were working very hard. Snow wasn't making life easier when it blocks the lines because it makes them late with their passenger and goods trains. But Donald and Douglas always help to clear the lines and makes everyone pleased, and that way their journeys can go much smoothly. Rosie was feeling very happy indeed because she loved this time of the year. "Do you love this time of the year?" she asked Thomas. "Yes, I do," replied Thomas. "Apart from that, I don't like wearing my snowplow, but I do like seeing the stations looking jolly in their decorations, the lights and the children's happy faces." Then Rosie saw Duck. He wasn't looking very happy at all. "What's wrong with Duck?" asked Rosie. "He's having one of those days," replied Thomas. "He's got a lot of hard work that has to be done. He's in a very bad mood." "At this time of year," Rosie explained. "Everyone at this time of year should be happy." "Maybe you can help to cheer him up," suggested Thomas. "You are very good at doing that." Rosie went to see Duck. "Are you feeling all right?" Rosie asked kindly. "No, I'm not," snapped Duck. "I've been up and down every track this morning. Snow is making me feeling cold and cross. I've been to the quarry, the fitters' yard, the Elsbridge station and the windmill. My next job is to take this goods train to Wellswood station." "Maybe you should have some help," said Rosie. "I'm happy enough to help." "No thank you, Rosie," said Duck. "I can manage on my own." Duck arrived at Wellswood station. Suddenly Rosie appeared. "What do you want?" asked Duck. "I came to see if you needed any help with something," replied Rosie. "Now that you've finished with your goods train, my next job is to take these trucks to the docks. I'm going to do this myself. I don't want any help." Duck finally got to the docks. "Cheer up, matey," said Salty. "Feel in your festive spirit." But Duck wasn't up for it. Rosie arrived once again. "What do you want this time?" asked Duck. "I came to see if you needed help again," replied Rosie. "My next job is to take some children for their carol service at Wayside Village Station," said Duck. "The sooner I get that job done, the better." "Let me help," said Rosie. "No," snapped Duck. "I want you to leave me alone. I don't need or want any help." Duck collected the children and then he set off to the village. But it began to get windier and windier, and the snow was getting blown into deeper and deeper drifts. Duck was beginning to worry. "I hope I can make it to the village," he thought to himself. soon the rails became very icy and slippery, and worse was to follow. Duck ran in some snow that hadn't been cleared off the tracks, and he was well and truly stuck. "Oh no!" he gasped. His driver and fireman tried to dig away the snow, but it was no use. "Oh, help!" cried Duck. "How will I ever get to the village now?" Then he heard a sound coming from above. It was Harold. "I'm so glad to see you," said Duck. "Please go and get help. The children need to get to Wayside Village Station." Harold said that he would be pleased to help, and flew off as fast as he could. When Rosie arrived at Wayside Village Station, she was surprised that Duck had not turned up. "What's happened to Duck?" she asked Thomas. "I think he would have got stuck in the snow somewhere," replied Thomas. "The weather is getting worse." Then Harold hovered down towards Thomas and Rosie. He told them that Duck was stuck. "I would think Duck will need my help now," said Rosie, and puffed off to the rescue. Duck had been waiting for ages. His fire had gone out and his funnel was freezing. Then he heard a whistle. It was Rosie. "I'm so glad to see you," said Duck. "Please, can you help me get to the village?" "Of course I can," said Rosie kindly. Rosie pulled Duck out of the snow and the two engines set off. They arrived at the village just in time. The three engines listened to the children singing. "I'm sorry I was so rude to you today," Duck said to Rosie. "I should have let you help me all along." "It's all right," said Rosie. "You were just having one of those days." "You have worked hard all day," said Thomas. "The Fat Controller will be very pleased with you." And he was. "You are all really useful engines," he said. Duck was feeling very happy. "Tomorrow is another day," he said, "and it won't be long until Christmas Day, and we won't have to pull trains anymore. Merry Christmas, everyone." Village in the Snow. It was winter on the island of Sodor. There was snow everywhere, and there was not an engine to be seen. Thomas was cross. "It means he has to wear a snowplough, which was heavy and uncomfortable. I wish I didn't have to wear that stupid plough," he boasted. "This also means I have to clear the line." Thomas puffed along the line, clearing the snow. Along the way he met Duke. He wasn't very happy. "I don't like the snow," he explained to Thomas. "I'm worried about getting stuck in it." "I don't really like it either," said Thomas. "I don't even like clearing it. But if I don't, where will I be now?" "I'm glad you're doing it for us, Thomas," said Duke. When Thomas arrived at Ellswood Station, he met Henry. "I'm worried," he said to Thomas. "I don't like the snow because I'm afraid of coming off the rails, especially the time when I took the Flying Kipper train and snow jammed the signal. I'm almost finished clearing my line. said Thomas. "There's nothing to worry about." "Thank you, Thomas," said Henry. Thomas went to the quarry to collect his trucks. "I can't stand the snow," said Scarlery. "There's not enough water in the towers to fill us up. It's also bad enough for us when we're low on oil," said Mavis. "Don't worry," said Thomas. "I'll fetch some more fuel and coal in the morning." "Thanks, Thomas," said Boku kindly, and Thomas set off. Thomas came to Wayside Village Station. He saw some children building a snowman on the school playground. Thomas whistled to them. "Looks like you're having fun," he said to the children. "Yes," said the children. "It's going to be a happy snowman." Later that afternoon, the snowman was finished, and when Thomas stopped at the station with Annie and Clarabelle, he saw the snowman. "It is a happy snowman," he said. "At least that's one thing we like about the snow." He met Donald and Douglas. They were fed up. "What's the matter?" Thomas asked the twins. "Everything," said Donald. "My snowplow has gone wonky and I've been stuck twice." "It wouldn't have happened if you did as I said," argued Douglas, "but you were so busy rushing off to clear our lane." "There's no need to have an argument," said Thomas. "Come and look at the snowman. That'll cheer you up." And it did. The next morning, Thomas came to the quarry with diesel fuel and coal. "At least we won't run out of fuel in this weather," said Rusty. "Thanks, Thomas," said Peter Sam. "We brought up coal too." Then suddenly Percy came rushing into the quarry. He had bad news. "Wayside Village Station has been snowed up," he panted. "We need your help, Thomas." And Thomas hurried off as fast as he could. When Thomas and Percy got to Wayside Village Station, there was snow everywhere, and they couldn't go any further. "Look at that," explained Thomas's driver. Thomas whistled loudly to the villagers. Then they heard a sound coming from above. "There's Harold," said Percy. "He's come to help too." Harold dropped hot food and drinks for the village people. In no time the snow was cleared. "I'm so glad you had your plough for the job," said Percy. "Now I can take my trucks to the villages." "But before you do that," said Thomas, "come and look at this." And Thomas showed Percy the snowman that the children built. "Now that's what I call a snowman," said Percy. "At least that's one thing we like about the snow, is to see them playing in it." And Thomas had to agree. Thomas goes too far. One morning, Bill and Ben, the tank engine twins, were on their way to work. The quarry wasn't so busy at the moment because there was a lot of snow and frost everywhere. Thomas was collecting his trucks. Bill and Ben arrived. "Hello, you two." "Thomas, what are you up to?" "Nothing," said the twins cheekily. "Nothing at all." And then they hurried away. "Nothing, eh?" thought Thomas. "Looks like mischief to me." Thomas was right. The twins are up to their old tricks again. They went to Wayside Village and they saw the snowman that the children built and they hid behind the station platform. Sir Handel was coming into the village station with his coaches. "Hello, Sir Handel." "Who said that?" wondered Sir Handel. "I did," replied a voice. "I'm right next to you." Sir Handel looked round. There was no engine to be seen. Then he saw the snowman next to him. "That's not possible," said Sir Handel. "Snowmen can't speak." "But this one does," the voice replied. "I'm a talking snowman, and I know every engine's name." Sir Handel was surprised. "How do you know my name?" "I just do, and I know what's going to happen next. Close your eyes and count to 10. So Sir Handel closed his eyes, and as he counted, Bill and Ben crept forward, and when Sir Handel opened his eyes, Bill and Ben whistled so loudly, and they blew smoke and covered Sir Handel. The twins laughed and ran off. "Come back here now!" shouted Sir Handel. Thomas was thinking about the twins. "They're always playing tricks in this weather," he said to himself. "I'll be glad when the snow goes away and they won't be able to fool anyone." A few days later, the weather changed. As the snow gradually melts away, Thomas was pleased. It means he doesn't need a snowplough anymore. He went to the fitters' yard to have it removed. "Now that the snow is going away," he said, "at least nothing can go wrong." But that's where Thomas was wrong. He met Bertie on his branch line. "I'm glad you're here, Thomas," said Bertie. "Melted snow has made a big landslide and blocked the road. I can't take my passengers to the station." "No problem," said Thomas. "I'll take them for you." "Thanks," said Bertie. The passengers all climbed on board Annie and Clarabel, and Thomas set off. "Don't take that line across the bridge," called Bertie, but Thomas didn't hear him. Later, Thomas met the twins at Wellswood Station. His train of trucks were waiting for him. "Here are your trucks, Thomas," said Bill. "Thanks," said Thomas. "Now I can take them to Wayside Village Station." "They need to get there as quickly as possible," said Ben. "Take that line over the bridge across the river." "Right," said Thomas. "That'll be much quicker to go that way." And Thomas set off. Thomas didn't know that melted snow had made the river over the bridge risen, and the water was right over the track halfway across the bridge. Thomas saw there was quite a lot of water on the track and decided to slow down, and as he approached towards the bridge he went right over the track that was half flooded, and the water slooshed into his cab and he hissed to a halt. "Oof!" groaned Thomas. "Help! I'm stuck! The water is spoiling my fire!" His driver and fireman stepped out from his cab. "This is terrible," said the driver. "We shouldn't have come this way," said the fireman. "But the twins told us to," said Thomas. Then he remembered. It was another trick. Thomas was very cross. His driver and fireman went for help. Thomas was left all by himself. There was worse to come. It started to rain, very heavily. "Bother!" he groaned. At long last Thomas was rescued. Stepney arrived with the Fat Controller. He was cross. "Thomas," he said sternly, "you know it's not safe to cross this bridge when the river's too high." "Bill and Ben told me to take this track," snapped Thomas. "They played a trick on me again." "I thought this might have been some trick," said Stepney. "It means it's not Thomas's fault." "Well, Bertie did tell me he warned him not to come this way," said the Fat Controller, "and I thought Thomas ignored him." "I would never ignore Bertie's warning," said Thomas. "I might not have heard him." "Then I'll be having words with Bill and Ben later," said the Fat Controller. Thomas had to stay in the shed for some time. There was a lot of water stuck in his boiler. He was still cross about the twins playing such a dangerous trick on him. "That's the last time I'll be taking the quickest way when these two suggest it," he said. Edward came to see him. He felt sorry for Thomas. "It's not your fault," he said. "I think the best way to avoid their tricks is to ignore them." Next morning Thomas met Bill and Ben at a junction. "I'm sorry, Thomas," said the twins. "We didn't mean to get you into trouble." "Well, you did," said Thomas crossly. "And I know which way I'll be going the next time the weather's bad again." And Thomas puffed away, leaving Bill and Ben feeling very ashamed of themselves. Thomas, Rosie and the Christmas Post. It was the engine's favourite time of the year on Sodor. They loved to work hard, take in holiday makers and bring in specials. They whistled to each other, wishing them a Merry Christmas. Thomas the tank engine was working extra hard. As well as clearing the snow, he'd been taking goods and passengers at Wayside Village Station. When he arrived at the village station, he saw Rosie. "Would you like some help, Thomas?" asked Rosie kindly. "I see you brought a lot of goods." "That's very kind of you, Rosie," said Thomas, "but I've already got Percy to help me. He's bringing the important post for Christmas." Rosie was disappointed. She wanted to help at the village station. As Rosie was heading back to the junction, she saw Percy. He wasn't happy. "What's the matter, Percy?" asked Rosie. "I've broken one of my piston rods in my engine," said Percy sadly. "It means I won't be able to help Thomas with the Christmas goods." Rosie felt sorry for Percy, but that gave her an idea. "Maybe I can help Thomas with the goods," she suggested. "They'll still be delivered on time." "That'll be kind of you," said Percy. "Thank you. I'll go and tell Thomas, and I'll come and get someone to take you to the fitters' yard." And Rosie hurried away. Rosie met Thomas at Knapford Station. "There's been a change of plan," she explained to Thomas. "One of Percy's piston rods is broken, and he'll have to go to the fitters' yard, and I'm going to give you a hand with the Christmas goods instead of him." "Thanks for telling me that, Rosie," said Thomas. "I'll meet you there later. I've got to take these passengers for their concert." Rosie came to collect Percy's mail trucks, and Molly shunted Percy to the fitters' yard. "We want you mended on time for Christmas," said Molly to Percy. "So do I," agreed Rosie. Rosie finally got to the village station. Thomas was talking to Fearless Freddy. "Are you being Thomas's helper?" asked Freddy to Rosie. "Yes, I am," replied Rosie. "Percy's gone to be mended, and so I'll be bringing the Christmas post instead." The following day, Rosie was on her way to collect the post for Christmas. When she got to the dock, she saw there was a lot of trucks to pull. "This is the last lot," said Frankie. "Thanks," said Rosie, and then she puffed away. Rosie hurried along the line, trying to get the last post delivered at the village station. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. A big snowslide came down and blocked the track. "Oh no!" gasped Rosie. "I'm stuck! How will I ever get to the village station?" She whistled for help, but there was no engine in sight. Rosie's driver called for help. When the Fat Controller heard the news, he came to see Thomas. "There's been a big snow cutting on your branch line," said the Fat Controller. "Rosie can't get through because it's blocked her line." "That's why she hasn't arrived with the last post," said Thomas. "I'll go and help her," and Thomas set off as fast as he could. Thomas finally found Rosie. Rosie was pleased to see him. "I'm glad you come," she said. "I thought I was going to be stuck out here all night. Percy would never forgive me if the last post didn't get to the village station on time." "We'll get there as soon as we clear the line," said Thomas, and in no time at all, Thomas and Rosie were on their way with the last Christmas post. The villagers were pleased that the two engines brought the last post. The villagers wanted to have the plan to thank the engines for all their hard work. Then they spoke to the Fat Controller, and he knew just what to do. It was soon time for Thomas and Rosie to head back home, but then they heard the sound coming from above. It was Harold the helicopter. He told them they were needed at Knapford Station. "I wonder why we need to go there?" asked Rosie to Thomas. "I don't know," replied Thomas. "There's only one way to find out," and the two engines puffed away. When they got back to the yard, it was dark. Thomas and Rosie's hearts sank. Suddenly, hats got dropped on their funnels, and all the lights came up, and all the engines were there too. What a surprise it was for the two engines. The Fat Controller said, "It's to say thank you from the villagers for all your hard work." Percy was very pleased that Thomas and Rosie got the Christmas goods delivered on time. "Thank you so much," he said to them. "3 cheers for Thomas and Rosie," said the other engines. The engines whistled and everyone cheered. And Thomas and Rosie agreed it was the best Christmas surprise ever. Jingle all the way. It's Christmas time, the bells are ringing their chime. We're hard at work down the line, we're all doing our work just fine. It's the engine's busiest time of the year on Sodor, and there are more passengers and more deliveries than any other time of year, but they don't mind because it keeps them jolly and happy and sees everyone's happy faces, as it was only 4 days before Christmas and the Fat Controller loves getting organised and prepares for special occasions. Thomas and Percy were admiring the Christmas tree at Knapford Station. The Fat Controller was organising a surprise for all his engines this evening, and Thomas and Percy were keeping it a secret because they know what it is and they're allowed to help with the special. "I can't wait for the big surprise," said Percy. "Me neither," agreed Thomas, "because I can't think who deserves to keep it a secret more than us." Then the Fat Controller came to see the two engines. "I need one of you to collect a package from the docks," he said. "I'll go, sir," said Percy. "Very well," said the Fat Controller. "Off you go, then." And Percy set off, singing away. "The holly and the ivy, when they're both full grown, all of the trees that are in the woods, the holly bears the crown. Oh, the rising of the sun, oh, the rising of the deer," sang Thomas and the Fat Controller. "The playing of the merry organ, seats swinging in the choir. And I would like you to collect some important goods from Wayside Village Station," the Fat Controller said to Thomas. "I'm on my way," said Thomas. Percy was collecting his train from the docks. He told Cranky about the secret of what Thomas and Percy were preparing for. Just then, Salty pulled up beside Percy. "What are you, me hearties, doing?" asked Salty. "Nothing," said Percy. "No, we're just chatting away," said Cranky, and Percy hurried off to meet Thomas. Thomas was at Wayside Village Station collecting his important goods. He was talking to Harold the helicopter about the secret surprise. Then Rheneas and Arthur arrived. "Looks like they're up to something," whispered Rheneas to Arthur. "What's going on?" asked Arthur. But Thomas and Harold pretended they weren't there, and Thomas puffed away and Harold flew off. Thomas and Percy met at Elsford Station and were feeling more excited more than ever. Dodge and Splatter pulled in next to them. "What are you up to?" said the twins. But Thomas and Percy were too busy talking to notice them. The Diesels were wondering because they were whispering to each other, and so they set off. Dodge and Splatter met Peter, Sam and Scarlurry. "Thomas and Percy seem to be behaving very strangely," they said. "Do you know what they're up to?" "No," replied Peter Sam. "I hope they're not being naughty," said Scarlurry. "Not at this time of year. I think we should go and tell that to the other engines." The story soon spread throughout the island. Scarlurry and Peter Sam told Mavis, Boko, Bill, Ben, Rusty, Fearless Freddy, Duncan and Sir Handel at the quarry about Thomas and Percy. Rheneas told Duke and Mighty Mac. Arthur told Murdoch, Harvey, Emily, Spencer and Lady on the main line. Salty told Rosie, Dennis, Neville, Oliver, Toad, Stepney and Molly at a junction. Lady told Bertie at the level crossing. Emily told Donald and Douglas at Welford Station. Stepney told Toby and Henrietta for Farquhar. Rosie told Duck at the docks. Toby told Terence at the windmill. Dennis told Diesel and Teasel 10 on the other railway and telling them to keep out of trouble whatever Thomas and Percy were up to. Donald and Douglas told James, Gordon, Henry and Edward at the sheds. Bertie told Annie and Clarabelle the coaches knew what Thomas and Percy were up to, but they didn't say a word. And even James told the Fat Controller at Knapford Station. "I'm not going to tell you," said the Fat Controller, "but I would like everyone to be here at 6 o'clock. "We'll be there," said James. When everyone came to Knapford Station it was pitch black. "Whatever are Thomas and Percy up to?" wondered Duncan. "This must be some sort of trick," said Gordon. "But the Fat Controller told us to come here," said Murdoch. Then Thomas and Percy blew their whistles and surprise! All the Christmas lights lit up, and there were a lot of people, and the Fat Controller. "Merry Christmas, everyone!" he shouted cheerfully. "This is a reward for all my engines and buses," asked Bertie. "And buses," said the Fat Controller, "for all their hard work. A very special get-together just in time for Christmas." "So that's what Thomas and Percy were up to," explained Mavis. "They planned this secret surprise," said Edward. "I'm so glad we didn't know about it," said Fearless Freddy, "otherwise it would have ruined the surprise." Agreed Emily. Then Harold the helicopter flew over and dropped presents round the Christmas tree at Knapford Station, which were sent by Father Christmas, and the party began. The engines whistled and everyone cheered. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The engines on the island of Sodor thought this was the best Christmas ever, and Thomas and Percy had to agree that no engine could be prouder than those on the Fat Controller's Railway. Happy New Year. It was just after Christmas and before the start of the new year. The engines are back at work after a fantastic Christmas break. They were all talking about the surprise that Thomas and Percy kept for all the engines and how wonderful it was. The Fat Controller has organised a New Year's fireworks display at Knapford Station and has invited some of his engines. Thomas had just come back from clearing his branch line. He met Toby at Wellswood Station. "Did you have a lovely Christmas break?" asked Thomas. "Yes," replied Toby. "It's a shame Christmas time will soon be over. I love seeing everyone getting excited about it." "Never mind," explained Thomas. "It's nearly the new year. It'll happen all over again in the end." "You're right," said Toby. "There's lots of other things to look forward to all year." Thomas met Percy at a junction. "Christmas time is almost finished," he said sadly. "It seems like it's gone too quickly for me." "It will happen again," said Thomas kindly. "It'll be here before you know it. But remember the big surprise we kept for everyone?" "I do," said Percy. How wonderful that was." Later, the Fat Controller came to see Thomas and Percy. Percy, I need you to collect the fireworks from the docks. And Thomas, I need you to collect the passengers and bring them to the firework party. Percy was collecting the fireworks from the docks. That was a great Christmas, wasn't it, Mighty? Said Salty. Yes, it was, said Percy. I'm glad you loved the secret surprise from me and Thomas. And Percy hurried away. Thomas was collecting his last lot of passengers. Boko and Duncan arrived. Nearly time for the new year to begin, said Boko to Thomas. I really loved your and Percy's secret surprise you kept for all of us, said Duncan. It's been great fun, said Thomas, but I need to hurry. I don't want to be late for the Fat Controller's firework party. And Thomas hurried away. Percy passed Bertie at the level crossing, and Thomas passed Harold at the helicopter rescue centre. They were both on their way back to Knapford Station. But the two engines were heading for trouble. Percy saw that his line was blocked by a big snowdrift. Bother! He groaned. And Thomas came to a signal which was jammed by the snow. He had to stop, because it wasn't safe for engines to run without signals. I'm going to be late, grumbled Thomas. Both drivers called for help. The Fat Controller sent Harvey, the crane engine, with some engineers to fix the frozen signal, and Terence the tractor came to clear the line. After a long time had passed, the two engines were on their way. By the time Thomas and Percy got to Knapford Station, it was very late. The Fat Controller was waiting. I'm sorry I'm late, said Thomas and Percy together. I was held up. You were both held up, said the Fat Controller. At least you got the passengers and the fireworks here on time. It was just before midnight, and it was time for everyone to gather round, and they were ready for the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! Happy New Year! And all the fireworks started to fly in the air and sprinkle colours in the night sky. The engines whistled and everyone cheered, and they wished themselves a Happy New Year. Oh, hello. Do you know me? That's right. I'm Thomas the Tank Engine, your favourite #1 engine. It's Sodor's favourite time of the year. It's Christmas. This year, Sir Top of the Hat wants this year's carol party to be more festive than last year's. Oh, and we're having a very special guest. None of the engines know who it is, but Sir Top of the Hat knows. Let's go and see what's happening now. Oh look, looks like there's a lot of preparations to be done at Knapford Station. The party's taking place here as well. I must go now because I'm collecting Annie and Clara from the fitters' yard.
Where is Thomas? Oh, here he comes now.
Annie and Clara are going to be clean next, sir?
That's right, Thomas. Now, Toby, I need you to go to the windmill to collect the flour to make the Christmas cakes. Oh, yes, sir. Can I take Henrietta, sir? Yes, I've got a meeting with the miller at lunchtime. Molly, I need you and Rosie to be in charge with the decoration train.
OK, but we want to know who the special guest is for the carol party.
I can't tell you.
Why not, sir?
Because it's a surprise.
Give us a clue, sir.
No.
Oh!
However, one of you lucky engines will be taking him on the rounds before the party, but you will definitely meet him before the party.
That'll be a job for important engines like me.
No, it won't, Gordon. It'll be for posh engines like me.
I'll decide, thank you. You two, now off you go, you engines. I wonder where Percy is. It's not like him to be late with post. I hope he won't be long.
Post train's here, sir. Sorry I'm late. I had to go slowly because of the slippery rails.
Jolly good, Percy. It's important to get the post delivered at this time of year, full of presents and Christmas cards. Look, I even have one from my cousin Tessa and my niece Vanessa.
Oh, did you get home safely after an unexpected trip here before your party of 50 years for being a controller, sir?
Oh, yes, Thomas, she did. Now I've got another important job for you two. I need you to collect the dogs and puppies. They're going to spend Christmas in the Sodor Rescue Pet Shelter.
Why are the dogs spending Christmas in the shelter, sir?
Well, Duck, it's quite a sad story.
A dog's not just for Christmas, a puppy is for life. But lost and cold we roam, still searching for a home. Our winter voices singing, please keep us safe from harm. A puppy has a heart, the coldest home he'll warm. So step out of the shadows, dance in the light we bring, and joining hands together, together let us sing. Love your dog. He'll be there to greet you at your door.
And that's why they're spending Christmas in the shelter.
I can understand. We'll do it as soon as we've been to the docks.
That reminds me, where is Bill and Ben? They're supposed to be here by now, collecting an important train.
I'm sure they won't be long, whatever the little cheeky monkeys are up to. Bill, we're meant to be at Bedham Docks to collect an important train for Topham Hatt.
He can wait, Ben, because I'm too excited to work.
To tell you the truth, Bill, the Christmas party this year is a tinkle on my axles, funnels and wheels.
I wonder what the engines are up to.
The halls with bells and holly, fa la 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 la.
'Tis the season to be jolly,
Fa la 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 la.
Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la.
Joel the ancient Yuletide carols.
Fa la 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 la.
Fa la 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 la.
fa la 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 la,
Fa la 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 la. I've got an idea, Ben. Let's go to Napper Station, see how the preparations are getting on.
Good idea, Bill. Away up, here comes Mr. Show-Off.
What's up, Salty? Are you glad it's the best time of the year? Well, yes, me hearties, it is. It's just that no one wants to listen to my stories anymore at this time of year. Why? I don't know. And also no one wants to buy fish. I partly hate Christmas.
How could you possibly hate Christmas? It's a very special time of year.
Ben's right, you know, Salty. Just because it's Christmas doesn't mean no one wants to listen to your stories anymore, or take fish. I'm sure the fat controller and the special guest will understand. Oh, thanks, me hearties. I could tell them about my problems. I must go now to Napper Station with my train.
That's where we're going. Go on, Bill.
Race you.
I say, steady on you two. Don't get overexcited.
Oh dear.
Oof! Watch where you're going.
What are they doing?
Be careful!
What? Where are they going? I thought they were collecting an important train.
Was that fun or was that fun?
That was fun. Hey, what's in this truck?
I think it's a cushion.
No, I think it's full of sweets.
No, I think it's full of party hats.
No, I think it's a cat.
No, I think it's...
Yes, it's me. And this truck is not for playing with. And by the way, why aren't you at Bread and Docks doing with a very important trade?
Aha! There you are, you two. I would like to give you some large and rather cross words with you two.
Look what you've done to my goods train.
These decorations will never be the same.
My trucks are damaged because of you, and...
Hey!
My trucks are damaged because of you, and it's just not fair.
Right,
But
everybody, be quiet. Thank you. Right, it seems like you two have got quite a lot of damage to clear up.
Yes, sir.
What
Sorry,
about
sir.
the important train at the docks?
It'll have to wait. But don't worry, it won't take long. Harvey will help you clear the chaos.
It'll be done in no time.
Is this our goods train, Ben?
I don't know, we'll have to ask Cranky.
This is your goods train, but before you go, what took you so long by coming here? You meant to collect this train about an hour ago. I know. We had a few accidents along the way, and we had to tidy them up.
Harvey helped, and I did most of it. Well, Bill helped a little bit.
Why didn't you collect it earlier?
Because we're very excited about the carol party.
Now we must go. Now we're late.
I wonder who the special guest will be. I'm most interested to know who he's
Now,
going to
the
be.
important train of the day is the one that will be getting the Christmas lights that we'll be needing for the carol party. I've decided which engine is going to bring them.
I hope it'll be me.
Not you, Percy. Especially the time when you did collected them when you crashed into a big snowdrift.
Oh yes, but you know it wasn't my fault, Gordon.
It won't be me, because I'm working with Lady today.
What's my agenda today, sir?
James, I need you to work with Stepney at the Bluebell Railway with a special train.
Am I pulling the supply train this morning?
I'm afraid you're not, Thomas. Your agenda today is to clear your branch line with your snowplough. It snowed quite badly in the night.
You know I really hate doing this job. I hate wearing my snowplow too.
I don't care if you don't like wearing your plough. You're doing this, or the important drains won't be collected today. It's an important job.
Me and Donald are clearing on the main line.
And we'll be finished before little Thomas. It's not fair. Why can't I join in the fun and pull special goods?
Cheer up, Thomas. It's not all that bad.
Just think, Mr. Thomas. You'll be the helper of the day.
I appreciate what you say, Oliver, and you, Toad, but I really don't care. It's no fun wearing my snowplow, and some of the other engines laugh and tease me about it.
The very special guest might be very pleased with you and about how much snow you've cleared.
Whatever, Ollie.
James, have you come to help me with the important special train?
Yes, I have. I can't wait for the carol party.
Me neither. I wonder who the special guest will be.
I don't know. Sir Topham Hatt won't tell us. It's a special surprise.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Hey.
Useless blooming snow.
Thomas, I'm so glad I found you.
Edward, whatever's the matter?
Thomas, there's been a terrible big snowdrift in Elbridge Station. I went there to collect an important truck for the Christmas party, but everywhere it's snowed up.
Are the narrow gauge engines all right?
I don't know, Thomas. I've not seen them, but there's bound to be an accident when they get there.
What shall I do?
If you see Bertie, tell him you mustn't go to Elsbridge Station. Tell him you must go back to tell Sir Topham Hatt.
Oh, thanks, Edward. Go and tell Harold, will you? I'll meet him there.
Yes.
And don't forget to send Terence the tractor with his snowplow.
Okay, no problem.
Bertie, there you are. I'm so glad I found you. Sorry, Thomas. Can't stop now for a race. I got to get to Elsbridge Station. My passengers need to catch their next train home for Christmas. No, Bertie. You mustn't go there. Why not? Because there's a terrible snow cutting at the station. If you go there, you're more likely to get stuck. Go back to Knapford Station and tell Sir Topham Hatt about the snowdrift. Oh, thanks, Thomas. I will, straight away.
Harold, we need your help. The narrow gauge engines at Elbridge Station are stranded.
Where's the help? I love emergencies to keep me busy.
Right, next stop, Elsbridge Station.
haven't you taken your passengers to Elsbridge Station?
Because there's an enormous snowdrift there. Thomas sent me back to tell you.
What?
Yes!
Take me there at once.
Now listen carefully, narrow gauges. Are you all okay?
Yes, Thomas.
Not Renee's. You almost crashed into me twice. I did not, Duncan. I put my brakes on in time.
You're the one with the heavy trucks. Scarlery, please. It's no one's fault. Our trains will be delayed if this snow doesn't get cleared. The passengers need to get home for Christmas.
There'll be no party either.
Don't worry, it'll be done. Harold is on his way, and Edward's bringing Terence.
Special delivery!
Wow! Food, water, and parcels for our goods? Sounds good to me. And me.
Oof, lovely stuff.
Take that! Bertie, what are you doing here? This job isn't done yet. I bought Sir Topham Hatt. Uh-oh. I couldn't clear all of my branch line. I hope I didn't cause delay.
No, Thomas, not at all. I came to say, well done. If you and Edwin hadn't told me, Bertie, Harold or Terence, this job would never have been done.
Yes, indeed.
Tomorrow, as you're such a hero today, I've chosen you can take the very special guest on his rounds.
Oh, thank you so much, sir.
Who is the special guest, sir?
Will we be meeting him?
Tell us, Thomas. I don't know who it is. Tell us who the special guest is, sir.
No, I won't.
That's not fair, sir.
How come you know who it is and we don't?
Because, Rusty, it's a surprise, but don't worry, you'll all meet him tomorrow on his rounds.
Here I am. I'm ready to meet the special guest.
Who is it then, sir?
I'll just go and get him for you two. Thomas, Percy, guess who this is?
He's got a white beard.
He's got a big red suit.
He flies reindeer on a magic sleigh.
He comes from the North Pole.
It's
Santa Claus! Ho, ho, ho! That's right, you two. I'm delighted to see you again. And I've been hearing the story about you saving Elsbridge Station. And you're going to take me on my rounds. It's not fair. How come Thomas gets to take the special guest on his rounds?
After all, we finished first before him.
Because, Donald and Douglas, Thomas was such a hero yesterday for saving Elsbridge Station from such a terrible snowdrift.
Tell me, Thomas, are these your coaches? Yes, they are Annie and Clarabelle.
Look, Clarabelle. It looks like we've met the important celebrity again. Yes, it's a special guest for this year's Christmas party. The King of Toyland. Surprise, surprise.
Is that Santa Claus?
The very special guest for our carol party.
It's definitely him. Yes, it is.
Is it really Santa Claus, all right? I can't believe he's here.
Yes, it's me, your favourite person in the world, Santa Claus, at your service. I'm so happy to be here again and see your wonderful engines. Thomas is going to take me on my rounds because he was such a hero yesterday for saving Elsbridge Station from a terrible snowdrift.
Wow, really, that's fantastic.
Well done, Thomas. That's a really brave thing to do, and useful.
Thank you, Emily, that's kind. Now, if you don't mind, I need to go and take Santa Claus on his rounds.
I'm telling you all, he's definitely here, and he's the very special guest.
Santa Claus? Yeah, right. We believe you.
He's not even real, so why will he be the special guest?
Have you ever seen reindeer fly?
Well, no. That proves it. Even if we've seen his outfit before, it's a fake one. There's no such thing as a fake Santa Claus.
Oh, yes, there is. Oh, no, there isn't, because I bought someone very special to prove it. That's right. Definitely me. Not a fake one, because Percy's right. There's no such thing as a fake one.
I told you so.
Oh, yes. Sorry, Santa. I, didn't mean to say things like that.
Me too.
And me. It's just that lots of city boys were saying it the other day.
I can understand. However, Whenever I hear anyone say I don't believe or he doesn't exist, they get ended up on the naughty list, and that includes engines as well. Sorry.
Are you the very special guest for the party, Santa Claus, sir?
I am indeed, James. Where would you like to go first, Santa? Well, Thomas, as you saved Ellswood Station yesterday, I would like you to take me there first. Okay then, let's go then.
See you later, Thomas.
And you, Santa Claus, sir.
Hey, here comes Thomas. Guess who I bought for your engines?
Is it the special guest for this year's carol party?
Come on out then, sir. Is that? Yes, it is, Mighty.
A very special guest for this Christmas party.
He's also the King of Toyland.
Are you sure it's not fake?
Shh, Duncan. Remember the naughty list for naughty engines. It's so lovely to be on Sodor again. And your narrow gauge engines are looking right as range today. Thank you very much, sir. Toy trains. Children always love toy trains, don't they, Thomas? Oh, yes. Children always love toy trains. So we'll need plenty of more toy trains for good children for this Christmas. All the drivers will be thrilled. Ho-ho, bravo. Come along then, Thomas. We're off to Brendam Docks.
Ah, Percy, I need you to collect Terence and take him to the forest. He needs to collect the Christmas trees to take to the garden centre at Sodor.
Okay, sir.
Where would you like those decorations then, sir?
They came all the way from the other railway.
Wow, look at all those decorations.
Goodness me, you have been working hard with them. I'll just put them on the sidings, Edward. I'll deal with them later. What about the Christmas tree we'll be having for the carol party, sir? It's at Brendam Docks. I'll be choosing who's going to do the fetching. How important is the job, sir?
And who's collecting it?
Oh, it's important, all right.
Topham, dear, you're wanted on the telephone in your office.
Oh, thanks, my dear. I'll tell you engines later. I suppose it's my cousin Tessa.
I wonder how Thomas is getting on with his rounds with Santa Claus.
Oh, please don't be upset, Salty. Santa Claus really wants to talk to you especially. I got better things to do, mateys. It's not just things getting in my way at this time of year. It's the trucks not listening to me as well. I say, Salty, what is it? Some of these cargo nets are looking a bit old and broken. They are, and I'm fed up with dropping them all over the quay. Yes, I shall bring you some new ones for this Christmas. Oh, really? Could you do that? Ho ho, yes indeed. I am Santa Claus, of course. And, what about the boats? Oh, we'll need plenty of more boats. There's nothing like children love playing with toy boats in the pond, or in the sea, or in the bath. Oh, that's very well, matey. But the problem with Christmas is just no one wants to buy fish at this time of year. Ho ho ho. Then I think we should have fish pie for our grand Christmas party. There's nothing tastier. We'll come back with loaded trucks of fish after my rounds. Oh, no! You know I really hate doing this job. Oh, thank you, me hearties. This is going to be a very happy Christmas indeed. Farewell. Ho ho, yes. We'll see you later, Salty. Come along then, Thomas. We must hurry to Centre Island Quarry.
Spencer, I need you to go to the fitters' yards and collect the tools. But I want you not to go fast because the tracks are icy.
But sir, I'm the fastest engine in the world, and I can't be late to collect the Duke and Duchess from Wayside Village.
If you go too fast, Spencer, you will have an accident.
Okay then.
Now, how's Santa Claus doing on his rounds?
Is that Santa Claus?
So that's the special guest for our carol party.
Yes, it seems like Thomas is taking him on his rounds.
Sorry about the noise here, Santa Claus, sir. And also, children love playing with construction yard toys.
Ho ho, why yes, Mavis, they do. We'll make some more ones for this year. Now we must go to the Sodor riding stables. We'll be there in no time. Oh, hello, Stepney. Fancy seeing you here.
Why yes, Thomas, I've been delivering those horses hay for the winter as the Topham Hatt is taking some of the fresh hay to his cousin Tessa at the Land of Horses.
Well, guess who I brought you?
It's Santa Claus. He's a special guest for the party.
Ho ho! Yes, I am. And you must be Stepney.
Yes, I am. I think lots of children love playing with their farms. And animal toys.
Absolutely. And they love playing with wild ones as well. Now we must go to the village station at Wayside. We'll go past the lighthouse along the way.
I hope you love the village, Santa Claus, sir. Sorry it's a bit noisy, because all the village is so happy to see you.
True, that's true, Arthur. And also children love playing with model towns and building bricks to make their own houses. Now we must get back to Knapford Station. Thomas, hang on, I was just having a drink. Come on then, let's go, Santa Claus, sir.
See you later, Thomas.
Thank you, Percy, for bringing my family over for Christmas.
Oh, that's all right. I hope you're all having a great big Christmas dinner.
Excuse me, sir. I think Thomas is coming back with Santa Claus.
Ah, jolly good. I wonder how they got on.
It's been a very busy morning.
Did your rounds win okay?
Ho,
Santa Claus, sir?
yes. It was splendid. Thanks to Thomas.
Oh, yes, indeed. Now, Thomas, Percy, I need you to go to Brenham Docks. I also need one of you to collect a special.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
These trucks came from Elbridge Station, sir.
Ah, James, I need you to go back there again.
Why? I just came from a long journey.
I know, but I need you and Toby to bring narrow gauge engines to Knapford Station. Time is getting on, and the carol party will be happening later tonight at 7 o'clock, and lots of decorations, food, and lights will need to be brought there. Let's go then, James.
I'll be collecting the goods train from there as well.
I'm back here again for another reason. I ought to bring some of the loaded fish so they can make a fish pie for their feast.
No, it's alright, Thomas. Rosie took it about half an hour ago.
If one of you me hearties are looking for the Christmas tree, it's on the other side of the docks. Either Thomas or Percy have to take it to Knapford Station.
What's that noise?
Mavis, whatever happened to you?
I was just trying to bring the tree over to this key, and the turntable went bang.
The Christmas tree still needs to be here, so it can be on this flatbed, me hearties. Right. Now, the next thing is to work out how to get this Christmas tree over here.
I'm afraid we can't use the turntable, Thomas. It's broken.
Right. What about using the siding crossings on the left-hand side?
Ah, yes. I'm afraid that's broken too.
I've got a better idea. How about bringing Terence, and he can tow it over here?
That's a great idea, Percy. Thank you, Terence. I couldn't have done this without you.
It's alright, Thomas.
You can take the tree, Thomas, because I need to help Mavis with another long train.
Oh, that's kind of you, Percy. I'll see you later then. Duncan, what are you doing?
I'm trying to move the trucks, Peter Sam, in the right position so that Murdoch can take the Gallard away.
Come on, Duncan. We're in a hurry. Let another engine do it instead. Toby's taking us both to Knapford Station.
We are in a hurry. Let the handle do it.
It won't take long to do this. Now please come on, troublesome trucks.
No.
Do as you're told.
Last year, Sir Topham Hatt said the turkey tasted a bit like a rubber duck.
Cooked through its own wings?
No, rubber duck. Just like you, duck. Ha! Very funny, Duke. Ha!
Duke, would you mind if one of us had the colour light bulb when the job's finished?
It will be important if you do.
Oh yes, of course I will. Carry on.
Come here, you.
Oh dear.
Testing the turkey positions, are you, eh, Duncan?
Yes, I mean, no. You see, it's not fighting fair, Toby.
Mary had a baby, yes, Lord. Mary had a baby, yes, my Lord. Mary had a baby, yes, Lord. The jumpers on the garden and the train. Oh, Lord. Snow seems to be getting heavier.
Why, yes, thank you so much, Vanessa, and season's greetings to you too.
Ho, ho, ho. I hope your cousins are having a good Christmas.
Ah, of course they are.
Sir, the narrow gauge engines are on their way.
Good job, Percy.
Where's Thomas?
He'll be here soon.
I hope he will be. I thought he was here already. Duck and I brought the banners.
What shall we do with them, sir?
Put them on his sidings, Duck.
Where's Thomas?
I was just asking the same question, Doc. I'll go and find him.
Hello, Percy.
Oh, hello, Toby. I thought you were collecting the lights.
No, I'm bringing the narrow gauge engines to the party.
I'm looking forward to seeing this Christmas tree.
Me too.
Well, I can't keep you, Percy. Must get on.
Oh, Toby, have you seen... I must find Thomas.
Looks like the party is nearly done. Decorations, bunting and bangers.
We've got lights.
We've got all of the engines coming from all round Sodor.
And Santa Claus, our special guest.
Yes, indeed. It seems like we've got everything. But where's Thomas?
And the Christmas tree is meant to be bringing.
He'll soon be here.
That's if. Gordon is coming with the mayor. I've come to see the tree that Thomas bought.
I'm afraid it's not here yet, Gordon.
Oh dear. Where is Thomas?
Santa Claus, sir. Do we have everything and everyone?
Excuse me, sir.
We've got all the food.
I don't mean to be rude. I think all your lovely engines wants to talk to you.
Of course. What is it?
We haven't got everything, sir. There's no Christmas tree and there's no sign of Thomas. Nobody knows where he is.
Oh, I don't know where Thomas is.
I've looked everywhere for Thomas, but I can't find him.
This is a mystery. I've no idea where Thomas is. There is something must be done. Something must be the matter. We'll send a search party.
Where is Thomas? Where has Thomas gone? Perhaps he's playing hide and seek, or something's really wrong. Sir Topham Hatt has spoken.
Thomas must be found.
So everyone is searching every inch of Sodor ground. So everyone is searching every inch of Sodor ground.
Well, I've looked everywhere, but I can't find my friend. Well, there's only one more place to look, and that's his branch line. Thomas, where are you?
Percy, is that you?
Thomas, I've found you. Are you all right?
I think so. I've still got the Christmas tree from the docks. And now I'm late and my fire's gone out and I'm cold.
Don't worry, Thomas. I'll go for help right away. Sir, I've managed to find Thomas. He's stuck in a snowdrift on his branch line.
Oh no, not another one. All engines, we're going to rescue Thomas. Quick then, let's go.
Don't delay, I'm coming.
To the rescue.
Wait for me.
Make way.
On our way.
On our way.
Here we come.
Hang on, Percy. Since we're going to rescue Thomas, what we're going to do is this.
Here we are.
Don't worry, Thomas. We'll have you out.
Do you want this tree?
What's going on here?
Careful, Bertie. Try not to come near this point.
We're on a rescue mission here.
Who's got a towing rope?
Boko's got one.
I have in my cab.
I've got one too.
Good. May I have them to tie onto your buffers?
Hang on, wait. Santa Claus has got the right friends to help us.
Wow. It's the reindeer.
I never thought I'd see the day.
Me neither.
Let's not chat now. We've a tree and a friend to rescue. Come on. Heave.
Come on, Prancer! Come on, Vixen! Heave! 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 I'm out! Hooray!
Fantastic work, everybody. Thomas and the Christmas tree are free. Now let's get this tree to Knapford Station. Attention, please. Thank you. Today has been a really busy day and I am so proud of you all.
Thank goodness we managed to rescue my friend.
Me too, Percy.
So many journeys as well.
Some of it was a bit of a terrible experience.
And we had some little helpers.
Shh! Let's listen if Sir Topham Hatt is allowing us to come to the party. You know, Thomas, I've been thinking. There's lots of bad children out there thinking that Santa Claus has never been real. I mean, they've never seen him properly. Gordon, you're not ever, never to say that again. Sorry, Thomas. Now come on, it is Christmas, so let's enjoy.
As a reward for all your hard work, you may come and enjoy the party.
Fantastic, I knew we would.
Let's go then, or we'll be late.
It's about to start. Come on then.
What's happening now?
I've no idea. It's dark, see?
None of us can see Neville.
Dennis, please, don't cause an argument this time of year.
Hang on, there's a light above us.
Oh, look, it's Harold.
Sorry I'm late. I was bringing the special guest back here.
1, 2, 3.
Wow, look at all these lights.
They're beautiful.
And they're the best Christmas lights I've ever seen.
This is going to be a great party.
No doubt about it.
It'll be fun.
And we'll have a very special guest.
And the food.
Some of it was thanks to me cranking me hearties.
It's all thanks to Thomas.
He brought the tree.
And us bringing the other goods.
Some of the navigators helped as well. Duke's right, we did.
I brought the holiday makers.
And some of us took people home for the holidays. And now it's party time. Let's listen.
Ladies, gentlemen, and children, welcome to Sodor's festive Christmas carol. We have a very special guest this year. Please welcome Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho! Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Thomas.
You too, Percy.
This party should never end.
I don't blame you, Toby.
Ho ho! Right, everybody, I'm going back to the North Pole so I can deliver all the presents to everyone round the world. Have a very happy Christmas. Bye-bye, Santa. See you next year. I hope you come back next year. Bye-bye. Ho ho ho.
Snow is falling, Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought me some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. And the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow and snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really grab me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time, yes, the most wonderful time, oh, the most wonderful time of the Thank you.